From building over 11,000 1x1 studs for a LEGO world map to removing bricks from sets like the Ghostbusters, here are some of LEGO's instructions that just make no sense. And starting off strong, we've got the 76038 Avengers Tower set that comes in at a solid 2,992 pieces. But here's the catch, because it includes 269 window frames and panes of glass. Now, you're never putting together all 269 at once, thankfully, but trust me, doing them a few dozen at a time still feels like a test of your patience and your fingertips. It's like the set is almost secretly training you to have superhero level endurance. But once you do power through the repetitive window building marathon, the result is pretty rewarding. And that's because the tower looks sleek and futuristic with those large blue windows running up the entire height, giving it a cool modern look. Yes, sure, it might be one of the more labor intensive builds, but hey, at least you get a stunning display piece out of it. Plus, if you ever wanted to know what it's like to be Tony Stark's window installer, well, now's the chance. And that's because the LEGO Daily Bugle set packs a hefty 3,772 pieces and stands as one of LEGO's tallest Marvel sets. And as you dive into the build, you'll encounter step 40, which involves assembling 40 window pieces into 4 groups of 10. This isn't a one-time deal though, because you're going to be repeating this process 22 times throughout the entire build, totaling 347 window pieces. It's a bit like setting up a never-ending office party. Lots of windows, lots of repetition, and you're just going to get bored eventually. Now look, while the repetitive window building can get a bit tiresome, the finished product is pretty spectacular. The Daily Bugle, of course, features multiple floors and a whole roster of minifigures, making it a standout in any Marvel collection. Sticking to Marvel though, the LEGO Avengers Helicarrier set is also a massive, impressive model that brings the iconic flying command center for Marvel to life. As you work through this set, you might encounter a particular moment that sets it apart from most builds, a step where you're actually instructed to remove LEGO bricks. That's right, because while most sets are all about adding pieces to build up the model, the Helicarrier has a rare twist where you need to actually take some bricks off. It's like LEGO threw in a plot twist, making builders do a bit of a teardown before actually finishing it up. This step can be a surprising change of pace to someone, especially if you're just used to stacking bricks together. So when you do hit that removal step, just remember it's all part of the grand design and probably a clever way to get everything just right before you add the finishing touches. All right, now finally moving on with all of that Marvel talk, let's now get right into Star Wars, shall we? Because the Jedi Training Diorama set clocks in with over 1,000 pieces. But brace yourself for steps 42 and 43, because in step 42, you'll be adding 39 tiny 1x1 translucent green plates to set up the swamp base. And just when you think you're done, step 43 comes in and hits you with 177 more to create that bubbling swamp effect. It's like the set's way of testing your patience and precision, and maybe channel some Jedi calm for this part, because it can feel like searching for Yoda himself and all these little pieces. Now look, despite the repetitive tile laying, the final result is pretty awesome. The diorama does nail the swampy, mysterious vibe of Yoda's home on Dagobah, and it looks pretty good on display. Sure, those 1x1 tiles might have you questioning your life decisions at some point, but once it's finished, you'll feel like you've truly completed your Jedi training. Because now, this next Star Wars set does give you a little more room to relax. The LEGO Star Wars Imperial Landing Craft from 2007 is a cool set featuring an iconic Empire landing craft. And as you work through the build, you'll come across step 27, which is notably the simplest LEGO step ever. Why? Because the instruction is to open a parts box that is completely empty. No bricks to place, no pieces to store. It's like LEGO decided to throw in a little breather right in the middle of your build for whatever reason. Typically, these super easy steps pop up towards the end of the instruction booklets, but this one's a bit of an oddball, making an appearance in the middle of the process. It's almost like LEGO wanted to give you a moment to catch your breath and enjoy a brief pause before diving back right into the construction. Now, the Lord of the Rings Rivendell set is a massive 6,167 piece build that's every bit of epic as the journey to Mordor, but without all of the orcs. However, starting around step 216 in the third instruction booklet, you'll encounter a roof tiling saga of your own. Across 4 steps, you're going to be placing 266 tiny 1x1 tiles, yep, once again. And if you want me to break it down, that's 53 1x1 tiles in step 216, 60 in step 217, 83 in step 218, and 70 in step 219. But wait, and just when you think it's all over, surprise, because another 44 tiles in a different section also appear. It's like the LEGO version of the Council of Elrond, only instead of debating the fate of the One Ring, you're endlessly aligning tiles. Now look, despite the roof tile marathon, the end result is stunning. Rivendell does come to life with the intricate details details capturing the beauty and elegance of the Elven city. Sure, the tiling will test your patience and maybe also your eyesight after a certain point, but once it's complete, you'll have a breathtaking display piece worthy of Middle-earth itself. Just remember to pace yourself though, because elves do live forever, but you might not want to spend that long on a roof. Next, the LEGO Monkey Kid City of Lantern set offers a vibrant and detailed cityscape that's sure to impress. But as you work through this colorful build, you might stumble upon a rather peculiar step, placing 12 Technic pins loosely into a small container. At first, this step might seem a bit confusing, like LEGO is trying to mess with your mind, but there's actually a method to the madness. This seemingly odd instruction is a clever storage trick. By keeping the Technic pins together in a container, you'll have them organized and ready to go for when you need to connect modular components later on. It's a bit like LEGO's way of saying, trust us, this will make your life a lot easier. So, while it might seem like a pretty unusual step, it's all a part of making the building process smoother and more enjoyable. The LEGO Stranger Things set is a fantastic tribute to the hit TV series, packed with iconic elements that fans will love. And look, as you dive into this set, you might encounter a quirky step around step 25. Here, you're directed to stack 3 1x4 plates to match the height of a single 1x4 brick. It sounds a bit unconventional, but again, there's a method to this unique approach. The designer of this set chose this route specifically to sidestep potential mix-ups, partially since the set includes 1x4 bricks with side studs as well. By using plates to achieve the required height, LEGO helps prevent confusion about which piece to use and simplifies the building process. It's a clever trick to keep things straightforward and avoid any unnecessary errors. So, as you stack those plates, just know that it's all a part of making your Stranger Things build as smooth as possible. Nothing else. No need to worry about a parallel dimension of confusing instructions. Haha, funny joke, let's move on. The LEGO Ghostbusters Ecto 1 set is a fantastic tribute to the classic movie, packed with iconic elements and characters that fans will recognize and love. As you build this set, you'll encounter a clever and somewhat unusual step involving cylindrical yellow bricks. These bricks are used temporarily though for support during the assembly process. But here's where things actually get interesting. Once you've got the core structure in place, the instructions will then guide you to remove these yellow bricks because again, they're temporary. It's a bit like taking down the scaffolding from a newly built skyscraper. Suddenly, the model stands on its own, looking sleek and polished without those temporary supports. So look, while it might feel a bit odd to add and then remove bricks later on, it's a part of making sure your Ghostbusters set is sturdy and well constructed. And once those yellow bricks are out of the picture, you're left with a brilliant representation of the Ghostbusters iconic gear, ready to fend off any supernatural shenanigans. Overall though, it's a pretty cool concept of using bricks to support the build along the way. Another example of this actually is in the LEGO Emerald Knight set from 2009. This is a detailed train model that stands out for its intricate design and beautiful locomotive. And as you build this train, you'll notice an unusual but practical step involving temporary supports. Early on in the construction, you'll set up 8 support pieces to help stabilize the build, kind of similar to the Ghostbusters set we were just discussing. It might seem like LEGO is just giving you extra pieces to work with, but there's a method to this temporary madness. And that's because when you do reach step 46, these support pieces are once again removed, dismantled, and set aside. Once the structure is solid, the supports come down. This clever approach once again ensures that your Emerald Knight is sturdy during the build and looks sleek and polished when you're all done. So while you might be puzzled by the temporary use of these bricks, it's all a part of the process once again to get your train just right. And once those supports are out of the way, you're left with a stunning model that's ready to chug along your LEGO track in style. And if you're into sports cars and ever dreamt of designing one of your own, well, you might need to check out this LEGO set. The LEGO Speed Champions Mercedes set packs a solid 564 pieces, but the real test of your patience isn't the building, but it's the stickers. Step 242 in particular will have you juggling multiple stickers at once, trying to align them just right without getting air bubbles or misplacement or any of the junk that stickers come with. It's like a mini exercise in precision that can quickly turn from, oh, I'm almost there, to let me just start over. Once you survive the sticker gauntlet though, the build is then worth it. The Speed Champion series is all about detailed, sleek models, and the Mercedes set really does deliver on that. The final car looks sharp and ready for a race. Sure, you might need to spend more time getting the stickers perfect than actually snapping bricks together, but once it's all done, you'll have a stylish, detailed set that looks great on display. Just remember though, again, with like most things LEGO, patience is key, especially with those stickers. You don't want to mess them up because it's not as easy as, taking it off off and putting it back, you can mess it up. Now, that's not the only sports car that I have to yap about. The LEGO Speed Champions Ferrari set, part of the Speed Champions series, offers a sleek selection of Ferrari models. If you've ever wondered about the logic behind some LEGO steps, you might find step 3 particularly intriguing. Here, a 1x1 red plate with a Ferrari logo gets covered by another brick. And at first glance, it might seem like an odd move, but it's actually a clever design choice. By using multiple printed 1x1 red plates throughout the set, LEGO simplifies the process for builders. Instead of sifting through a bunch of pieces to find the one with the logo on it, every single red plate comes pre-printed. Kind of an interesting idea. It's a small touch that makes the building experience smoother and keeps you focused on putting together your Ferrari rather than hunting for some specific piece. So again, while it might look a bit counterintuitive and it might leave you scratching your head at first like, wait, why would they do that? It's all a part of making your build as enjoyable and straightforward as possible. I wonder if any other sets actually do this. So if they do, comment down below if you know any others. And if there's LEGO sports cars, there's definitely LEGO sports bikes. The LEGO BMW motorcycle set is a 1,920 piece tribute to the iconic BMW M1000RR, but you'll hit a bit of a speed bump around step 77, because that right there is when you'll need to assemble 62 links to create the bike's chain. And while it's crucial for making the model functional, it's also one of those repetitive tasks that makes you wonder if building a full-size bike might actually be easier. Once the chain's out of the way though, the build really shines. The level of detail on this model is impressive, from the sleek design to the working chain and gears. It's like having a miniaturized version of the real thing, and it looks amazing on display as well. So while the chain might feel a little tedious, it's all a part of creating a model that's not just about looking at it, but it's also functional, which is perfect for motorcycle enthusiasts and LEGO fans alike. On the topic of speedy things though, the LEGO Loop Coaster set comes in at a hefty 3,756 pieces and promises an epic, nearly 2-foot tall functional roller coaster. But the catch lies in step 452. This step requires you to assemble 254 chain links to get that coaster up and running. And while it's essential for the ride, linking together that many tiny pieces can start to feel like you're just building a real amusement park at this point from scratch, minus the funnel cakes. Despite the chain link marathon, however, the final product is a showstopper. The working roller coaster brings a whole new level of fun to the build, and watching it in action makes all of that repetitive chain assembly feel totally worth it. If you love the idea of having your own mini amusement park though right on your desk, the Loop Coaster set is going to be your new favorite set. Just take it slow with those chain links because you don't want to burn yourself out. The LEGO Haunted House set is a spooky delight with 3,231 pieces, but brace yourself for a bit of a horror show when you hit step 440. This step has you assembling 151 chain links to get the elevator mechanism working. Just like before with the roller coaster, it's like a chain link marathon where the goal is to just avoid losing your mind to the repetitive nature of the task. Despite the chain link grind, the Haunted House itself is a real treat. It's packed with eerie details and a spooky charm to it, making it a standout piece in any collection. The functional elevator is a cool feature, but it might not feel so thrilling when you're knee deep in those tiny links. Just think of it again as a test of your patience, and by the time you're done, you'll have a haunted house that's both hauntingly detailed and eerily functional. Speaking of standout pieces though, I definitely consider the LEGO Ideas typewriter set as one of them, since it brilliantly captures the charm of a vintage typewriter. And as you delve into this build, you might notice a peculiar approach in the instructions. Instead of the usual step-by-step assembly, you'll be tasked with creating and piling up multiple Technic beams in what initially seems like a haphazard manner. At first glance, this method might feel a bit disorganized, like LEGO is challenging your patience or playing a game of let's see how they can handle this one. However, builders are instructed to construct several half-completed Technic components and then stack them together, which deviates from the more linear build process that you're already used to. However, this unconventional approach is actually designed to streamline the assembly of the typewriter's intricate mechanics, making the final build both functional and also satisfying. So while the piling of Technic beams might seem a bit odd, it's all a part of the master plan to create a typewriter that not only looks fantastic, but also actually functions with a delightful retro touch. Embrace the quirks and you'll find that this unique building process adds to the overall charm of the set. And another beautiful set that makes a perfect decoration is the LEGO Ship in a Bottle set, and I feel like everyone's seen this one. This set includes 962 pieces, and while the final product is visually stunning, getting there involves a bit of a grind. At one stage in the build, you'll need to place 284 tiny blue studs inside of the bottle to create the effect of water. It sounds like an oddly specific specific number, but LEGO molds 1x1 round studs in batches of exactly 284, which is why you'll find yourself meticulously placing them one by one. The good news is that despite the repetitive stud placing, the end result is absolutely breathtaking. The ship inside the bottle looks incredibly detailed and elegant, making all those tiny blue pieces worth it. So while your fingertips might get a bit tired from the repetitive task, you'll end up with a beautifully crafted piece that's sure to be a standout on anyone's shelf. And hey, it's not every day you get to build a ship in a bottle without having to worry about the seasickness. And of course, you can't sail across the sea without a map. Well, the LEGO World Map set is a monumental 11,695 piece endeavor, holding the title for the most pieces in any LEGO set. However, if you're tackling this build, be prepared for a bit of a marathon. Out of those 11,695 pieces, a staggering 11,130 are tiny 1x1 round elements, with 364 of them being white studs. And look, you'll be placing these minuscule pieces on 40 16x16 LEGO art plates, a task that can easily take between 15 to 20 hours. It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle where each piece is a microscopic dot, and the satisfaction is in seeing a world map slowly come together. Despite the repetitive nature and potential for sore fingers, the end result is a stunning and impressive display piece. The world map not only looks fantastic on display, but also offers a unique way to showcase your LEGO skills and patience. Just remember as you place each tiny stud that you're not just building a map, you're creating a piece of art that'll make you feel like a true LEGO cartographer. And if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, just think of it as your personal journey around the globe, one stud at a time. Haha, you see what I did there? Now with that world map in hand, let's take a trip to India and marvel over at the Grand Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal set is a whopping 5,923 piece masterpiece, but be prepared for a bit of a grind when you hit page 42 of the instructions. Here, you'll actually place 6 tiny 1x1 tiles onto a 2x3 plate to form a checkerboard pattern 33 times. That's 198 tiles in total, which, fun fact, makes up 11% of the set's 2,022 pieces dedicated to just this one part. The good news though, well, LEGO was kind enough to separate the colors into individual bags, so at least you won't be, sorting through a mountain of tiny tiles like a treasure hunt. I would just not build a set at that point. Despite the repetitive nature of the checkerboard tiling, the payoff is huge. The Taj Mahal's architecture is as complex and detailed as the real thing, making it a truly iconic build. Sure, you'll spend a fair chunk of time laying down those tiny pieces, but when you step back and see the finished product, it's totally worth it. Plus, you can say that you survived one of LEGO's most intricate challenges ever. No passport needed for this trip to India. Moving on to our next stop though, that'll be Paris, France. Now, we all know what this iconic tower is, right? Well, yep, it's the LEGO Eiffel Tower set, and it's a colossal 10,001 piece marvel, reaching nearly 4 feet tall when completed. However, don't expect a quick build because the first 18 bags are dedicated to constructing just the base, which is already a bit repetitive. But the real test for patience starts with bags 19 through 32, where you'll be building the 4 main supports of the tower. Each support follows the same steps repeatedly, and to add a touch of extra challenge, many of the parts are mirror images, meaning you're essentially building the same structure twice, but in opposite orientation, so it can get a bit confusing too. While the repetitive nature can make the build feel slow and occasionally monotonous, the end result is worth it. The towering piece stands impressively tall and captures the grandeur of the real Eiffel Tower. So, if you're ready for a marathon build and don't mind a bit of deja vu with each step, this set will reward your patience with a stunning replica of one of the world's most iconic landmarks. Just be prepared for a test of endurance, no trip to Paris required. Now, with all that boat sailing comes a pirate ship, which makes the last entry on this list. The LEGO Ideas Pirates of Barracuda Bay set is a real gem for fans of pirate adventures, offering the flexibility to build either a dramatic shipwreck or a fully intact pirate ship. What makes this set particularly intriguing though is the way it handles the transition between these two different configurations. When you decide to switch from the shipwreck to the complete ship, the instructions involve a series of steps dedicated to removing various pieces from the wrecked model. It's like LEGO is almost giving you a reverse treasure hunt, where instead of adding pieces, you're carefully taking away some to reveal the ship in all its glory. This process might feel a bit counterintuitive, but it's a clever way to allow for a complete reconstruction, turning the shipwreck right back into its prime. So, while it may seem odd to start by dismantling parts of your build, it's all a part of the fun and flexibility that does come with this set. Whether you're into the dramatic look of the wreck or the sleek design of the intact ship, you get to enjoy both sides of the pirate adventure with one fantastic set. But on that note, if you have a favorite set with some stupid instructions, drop it down below in the comments and hit this button right here.